Well, hello and welcome back. We are continuing our season of getting unstuck, moving forward, momentum, and all of the things that are innovante, moving forward. We are the Developreneur Podcast. We're building better developers. I am Rob Broadhead, one of the founders of Developreneur, also the founder of RB Consulting, where we help you do a reality check. We help customs or companies that are stuck, that are pausing, that are worried about what their next step is going to be. We're going to help you make sure that you can take the right steps so you're not in that long list of people that have failed AI projects and tons of money that was spent and they got nothing, had nothing to show for it. Good thing and bad thing. I'm going to do, because it's an AI episode, I'm going to do a good thing. I was using AI to help me build out some assets and stuff like that. And so I was like, you know what? I've got a case study that I want to do. You guys have probably heard about Chip. I've mentioned him before. So it was Chip, and I was like, I want to do a case study about Chip and how we use them and how we built some of this stuff. And so it gave me something. And then I played with it a little bit. I said, give me a really good professional looking case study. Here's information, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it gave me a really nice web page with some screenshots. Actually, initially just said, fill these in. And I was like, well, fill it in for me. And it put together a really nice app. And I was like, I like that app. I want that app. So I took those pictures, put it into the Chip, and I said, change your interface to look like this. And within about 30 to 45 minutes and patching in a couple of different screenshots and stuff like that, boom, I have a brand new, really slick looking app. And I was like, this is awesome. So AI, if you know what you're doing and you know how to ask the right questions, can give you some really good answers and can help you get a lot of stuff done fast. Was that the most productive use of my time? I don't know, but it does mean that it matches, that if I have a case study and actually show somebody the app behind the case study, those two match. So it was able to sort of cross that chasm, as it were. The bad thing is, between that and some related rabbit holes that AI has allowed me to go down, I am like a net behind where I should be in productivity today. There's like too many things that I was like, oh, I've got a minute. I'm going to chase this rabbit hole down. And yes, I stopped at some point and set it aside into my second brain. And I've got lots of content to pursue at some point, but I also had some work to get done that I did not. More importantly, now I've probably spent too much time. Michael is just about passed out waiting for me. Here he is to introduce himself.
Hey everyone, my name is Michael Malash. I'm one of the co-founders of Building Better Developers, also known as Developreneur. I'm also the founder of Envision QA, where we create reliable, tailored software that helps you work smarter, scale faster, and stay in control of your business. Good thing, bad thing. Good thing, similar to you, I've been able to kind of step out of the business a little bit and start looking at some projects I had on the side, trying to solve some solutions. But yeah, the bad thing is there are so many rabbit holes. It's like I've gone from being like addicted to gaming to addicted to like AI and all the different things you can do with AI. It's like it's changing one device for another, and you got to still put the gates in place to kind of like, okay, time to walk away. But yeah, we are entering a whole new realm of different type of candy stores. It used to be going into like the Radio Shack, then it used to be going into GameStop. Now it's like, okay, what new little shiny thing is there out there for me to kind of play with, and how can it work and improve my business? So.
And that is where we're going to pick right back up talking with Matt Levenhagen, because there is he's done that. He's scratched that itch. He's built his own systems, and is definitely one of those that is at this point, funny enough, you could consider him one of those that are in the AI pioneer space, because funny enough, those of us that actually use AI on a regular basis are a very small percentage of the population overall, like 0.003 or something like that. So this is a great conversation, though, about somebody that's doing it, living it, and continuing to evolve as he's take those tools that he built and is using AI to apply that to even further his company. That being said, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get back to our conversation with Matt.
So you're talking about memory. You're talking about using Claude and different APIs and chatbots and things of that nature. Trying to build a system, with memory being so high and everything, getting started is kind of the challenge for most people I talk to. It's like, what should I go buy? Can I use my laptop for this? Are you using more cloud-based tools to run your stuff, or have you actually bought specific hardware to kind of get started? How did you kind of start that journey with your private AI?
Yeah, I didn't. I'm utilizing basically what I have on hand. This didn't. I wouldn't say it didn't cost anything. So the cost is the tokens, is the actual talking to the AIs. Um, but that's another aspect of this and things that I kind of sculpted over time and figured out how to control context, so I wouldn't get huge bills. So it's the API cost there is there. So whether you're using ChatGPT, Claude, or Grok, or whatever you're using, there is a cost to it. So that was something very early that I figured out how to track, and I actually have a readout for. This is something, again, you can't really do like in an app, although the app's more subscription based, but it doesn't matter as much. But I actually have a readout where it tells me exactly where it's pulling context, and then it kind of estimates the token usage. And so I try to keep it under a certain amount. And that's why I introduced, I don't know if you know what RAG is. It's Augmented generation. It's a way to pull memory, like more in a semantic way. So it's not loading your whole database all at once. It's actually figuring out the meaning of of what you're looking for. And I implemented things like that to keep costs down, but that's the main cost. I have a relatively new MacBook Pro. I got last year or something. And the chips are pretty good. So in terms of that, it's in the hardware, that's all I'm using, right? It's not anything fancy. And then, like I said, the APIs and all that's in terms of ClickUp and stuff, that doesn't cost me anything. I don't have
you're
any.
using more paid services still than not a local AI. You're not running your own private AI.
Well, I have it. I have like Llama and
okay.
So I have that available. I just choose to use ChatGPT a lot of the times, just because it's more robust, and it's bigger models. And but you can certainly I played with it early on. I have it available, like I can connect it. But that was something I was playing with for a while. Yeah. So you can have, they're just smaller models. They're, or more specialized. And you can, there's probably applications for that you could use, but yeah, for the most part, I use, it doesn't cost that. It depends on how much you're using it, right? I guess if you were on it all day long, 24/7, the bills would get a bit large, but I don't even know off the top of my head, but what it's costing me, but it's not that much. But yeah, that's it.
So you just built the guardrails around the paid version around your data, not so much that you were running the local AI with your information there so much as you just built the guardrails within the AI services that you're using to protect your sensitive data.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to, because I was trying to see if you had something special. You had segmented the two layers.
Well, if it depends on, like, if it's really, if there's a scenario where there's stuff that you really needed to, like, I don't know, national secrets or something that you have to, you can't let leak out anywhere. You don't even want the model itself, because still, yeah, you're talking to the AI. It's still technically like you're talking to, it's still going through their service and the company. The stuff that I'm building locally is the data itself is where it's saved and what it can retrieve and things like that. So that's something you can't do like an app. You can't just have a huge database of all your company information in your apps sitting there. So Yeah.
Now, I
That makes sense.
wanted to explore real quick. You mentioned that, like ClickUp and some of these others, everybody's adding AI to their app. I think Salesforce has got it and ClickUp's got it. I think HubSpot's got it. Everybody's trying to do that. Now you've got that option available in some of these tools, but now you've built your own as well. So how do you feel about these AI add-ons? Is there really any value in it, or is it something where you felt that you got more value when you essentially, I guess, rolled your own?
Yeah, it's so I don't get much value, like let's say take ClickUp as an example. There is value. There's certain things that I use it for. Like they basically ClickUp has a pretty robust like agent system that can do things like automate things. I can keep an eye on stuff and change things, like statuses and different things if it wanted to, or there's a lot it can do that I haven't even, we experimented with in the beginning, but it was really not anything that helped us a lot. But where it helps me is just little things like that save me time. So one of the things it can do, it helps search for things. So it has a pretty advanced search already, but AI can sometimes, like I'm looking for a specific piece of information in some doc somewhere I got in ClickUp. It can crawl and find that thing and give it to me. But it's the other thing, it can do some other really cool things. Like one of the things that in the recent week that I've used it for is I have a CRO that is sending me all these updates for this feature we're launching today. Actually, it's a funnel system, and he likes to deliver things in a doc. And so he sends me the doc with his QA items of bugs or whatever he found. And so, but I was able to use the brain. I just dropped it in there. I said, can you, and in the context of the task, I said, create subtasks out of this. And it goes in, grabs all that, puts it in there, organizes it. It does what I need it to do. Assign it to me, this date, whatever. And then I had a situation. I'm like, now I need you to also copy it over here because I have a different area I need to also track that. And it did that. So it's little things like that where it can speed up. It's almost like but for me, it's more like a more robust, advanced search, like next level of search. So I don't use it a lot beyond that. Even like I use Front app for my email. It technically has AI in there, and it tries to create drafts of emails all the time, and I delete. I gotta figure out how to turn that off. But it's just I don't. For me, AI is more like I use AI every day. I use ChatGPT a lot, even though a lot of people are going to Claude now because it's the new trend. But I still use ChatGPT a lot, Claude for coding, but ChatGPT for the business side of things. I kind of keep those two things or content, things like that, the podcast and all that. And, ChatGPT is helping me, but that's where I'm doing most of my work, not within the tools so much, but I'm sure there's little things. Like I feel like in those scenarios like ClickUp or Front or maybe HubSpot, whatever's got AI, there's applications, narrow applications that it can help you with different things. And it is probably helping you behind the scenes in some way. There's even like on the building website side of things, we're getting into that where, it's starting to, it's solving little problems. And the same thing my local system's doing is solving little problems. Claude Design came out and now it can design things, but I've only used it once so far, but it was actually pretty cool. It created some mock-ups for me. But yeah, I don't know. I think the marketing side of it, they can make it sound really just like it's earth shattering. And they want to, They're like, this is awesome, you know. But I hate that they, you know, charge more for it. It should just be built in. It's usually per user. So for another $100 a month, you can use this AI system. I mean, Slack has AI too. Slack is a weird one. I don't use it at all. Like I haven't figured out what I'm using AI in Slack for. Because really, but I would use my local system to pull. I haven't done that yet. To pull like what's going on in Slack today or whatever, you know, or filter something or get something for me. And then in the context of everything, tell me, you know, that Matt, go answer this question over here. Yeah. So
quick question. Just hang on 1 second, Rob. So quick question. So given all these different AI models out there, all the different tokens and pricing plans right now, do you see a potential issue with pricing coming up? Because I'm seeing a trend very quickly over the last few months where like Microsoft went like from 7x per token to 15x per token. To June 1st, they're now going to be 25x per token use. Do you think the pricing models are going to start scaling so high that we're going to either see a reduction in the use of AI, or do you think AI is going to improve to the point where, yes, we're paying more for tokens, but we're going to require less because it's going to be better at giving us the answer?
I think it's probably the latter. I think that, you know, yeah, I mean, token usage is obviously, you know, and it's a thing for all the services. Like I was telling you, where I'm building this chatbot for this members area. The idea there, it's an author, and we want to feed it to his book, but I'm like, but the big conversation was around tokens, and I can imagine that over time, if that was increased, but then you can play with different types of models that are cheaper, or different, you know, even within models, like, you know, when does it use what model to, you know, does it need to do deep thinking? Does it need to, you know, do you need the best model? Could you go with a more lightweight one? There's certain things in my local system where I don't use the latest models, just because it's just figuring out something that's easy for an older model to handle. That's way cheaper. So the cost is always something that I think, even if the costs are going up, somebody's going to have a model or some situation that's going to be cheaper, or you don't need that. You don't need the latest and greatest, or you need that costs too much. Try this other one, or your local. And yeah, so I think it's just something that everyone's going to manage. I imagine it's a little, I mean, I could feel for like subscription services and stuff, because if those costs go up, then they're going to have to raise their prices, or they're going to have to absorb it, you know, like how does that work? But yeah, that's something, like I said, that membership, I mean, the cost of the membership better cover the cost of people's usage. And so that's something we're going to have to monitor. Yeah. That's about all I can say on that.
And that's, yeah, I think this will be an interesting one that we'll end up discussing as the weeks and months move forward, because things are changing so quickly. I did want to go back real quickly on, you mentioned, you know, when you're building something for yourself, you can like, essentially test stuff out a little bit more. If it breaks, it's like, it's not that big a deal. What was one thing that you, looking back, that you learned while you were using AI and using it to automate and improve your systems, that you wish you had known earlier on, or that you'd maybe, you know, designed or thought through more deeply sooner rather than later?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess, yeah, I think it was probably the implementation of RAG. Because I didn't even know what that was at first. I was actually talking to a friend who's also kind of a nerd when it comes to building stuff with AI. And he's like, hey, have you checked out, we're doing the same things you're doing. It's another company. They're actually a digital marketing company. And he's like, we're playing around with this, and you got to check out RAG. This is a great way to do this, and et cetera, et cetera. Other things to say about it. But I think that the implementation of that and understanding like how to more efficiently get data out, I think was something I could have done earlier. It didn't cost me anything to learn that, or like, but I think that the memory piece was like, if I think about everything that I built, regardless of what it's built on, like memory management is so critical. And I think that's something, yeah. I mean, I there was nothing that was like, because I'm building it for myself, I'm not like, I learned a lot of things. I'm trying to think of something I had to roll back or redo or rebuild, but there's nothing that's striking me. The biggest thing is that just that memory piece and just how that evolved, I think.
I think that's pretty common. That was something I ran into as well. And it is the figuring out what does it need to remember and what can it summarize essentially. When do you need the details, and do you just need a summary overview of it? And being able to balance those. And you mentioned earlier, like, so it's going to be context based. So if you're asking a question about, I want to rebuild something based on something I did for a customer 10 years ago, it's going to have to go deep into that specific data. You probably don't care about it when you're saying like, let's do something that is our standard, company style or, look and feel or something like that.
Well, some of the things can like I guess one of the things that I had to refine over time was like this when it was summarizing things. Mm-hmm. And it would like just be verbose, like just like and figuring out how to prompt it in a way where it keeps that, even the responses, like you can control how large the responses are locally. Can't necessarily do that in the app. You can do that, and so yeah, controlling the context is something that you had to learn over time. And then retrieving and figure out how much data you're saving and if it's too much or context and memory. That's been the challenge, but it's good because I mean now I feel like I've figured out like what it should load every single time. What do you want it to know about you every single time? And then figuring out like if you want to give it all this data, like how are you going to like even like the client I'm going to be helping, we're going to load the whole book in, but we're not going to load the whole book in every prompt. Like, so that's something, I'm kind of teaching them how, this is how we're actually going to do it. We're probably going to use RAG or keyword based because some of my stuff's keyword based. I have tags on everything and it'll pull up certain things based on that as well. But yeah, it's figuring all that out. That was the fun.
Yeah, when you're dealing with knowledge work, it's funny enough, it comes down to the knowledge. What knowledge you want to keep, what do you need to specify, what can you gloss over? But the things that are specific that we do need to know is what is the best way for somebody to get a hold of you if they've been listening to you, whether it's to wax more philosophical about AI or if they're like, man, I've got some design work I need done. How's the best way for them to reach out?
Well, first you can go to my website, unifiedwebdesign.com. There's a convenient button at the top that says support, and you can go there and fill in that form, the old-fashioned way, or call me. Also, there's if you want to set up a quick intro call, 15-minute call, just to jump on the line and see if we're a good fit, or just tell me what your problem is, or if you want a quick chat. And otherwise I hang out on LinkedIn. That's my otherwise home away from home on the digital web. You can find me at, just search Matt Levenhagen and you'll find me. Unified Web Design 2 probably would pull up, but that's about it.
Excellent. Well, I will say, and if they follow you, they will see plenty of content. Definitely, see you out there, see you on a regular basis. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Thank you for investing some time in yourselves and just learning more. There's There's a lot to learn. It is changing on a regular daily basis. And so I know it feels like drinking from a fire hose. It is for all of us. But this is where we just sort of learn when to, where to find the most important pieces and take those as we move forward. As always, though, go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time. And so now, as we've moved out of the audio, here's the thing that you've had like this all this time to work on. It's like, so what would be either your nugget of wisdom to pass on to people, either from your business side or even what you've built for your business, or is there a challenge you can put up to people to just sort of say like, hey, this is how you can make yourself better?
I guess I think it would be, I think it's in the context of what we're talking about here, whether it's AI automation, it's create a kind of a personal project for yourself, something that you want to solve, that you can think you can solve in your business, or something that dogs you, like something that's, or takes up too much of your time. One of the things that really this system has actually helped me with, and it's not intuitive when you think about it, I don't think, but it's actually, it almost forces me to self-improve. Even like I'm improving, yeah, I'm building things to automate and build, just to use AI and leverage it more and all that stuff we're talking about. But it's also, I've noticed there was a period of time I was getting help with my emails. I had somebody in VA actually helping me. At the moment, I don't have a VA helping me, so I'm handling all my emails. And I noticed for a long time they would get to, like 500-600. But building this system, it actually not only helps me analyze my inbox, but it's forcing me to actually go in and keep my inbox relatively up to date. So I never get past 100 now. But it's little things like that. It's just that little improvements compound, So try to solve that. Don't think of it. Don't get overwhelmed by all the things and all the headlines and all the agents and what they can all do for you and how they're, and how you're going to unleash them and, be able to just sit on a beach and it does everything for you. Just solve that one thing at a time, and just incrementally you'll improve and you'll learn as you go.
That is, I think that's awesome challenge, awesome wisdom, because I think that's what we all of us learn. Well, I don't know, all of us learn best by doing, but I think that is definitely a harsh teacher sometimes, but a very good one. Is that you go in there, you do it, and if it works, great, you get to pat yourself on the back, and if you don't, you're like, oh crap, now I got to go fix this and walk back through it. But definitely find that to be a great way to learn by doing, and especially with AI, is I think it's going to help. It helps remove the hype and the fear and all the other stuff. Is just get in and realize that it's just another tool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us. This is exactly as I expected. This is great. We had a lot of great topics that you surfaced up, and so really appreciate your time and coming back and joining with this. Definitely keep in touch. If there's anything that we can do to help you out, happy to do so. This will come out. I think we're probably about a month ahead now, right, Michael? So probably about early June, I think is where this.
Like 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks.
So late May, something like that.
Okay.
Michael's the whole back office dealing with the editorial side,
Nice.
Editing side of the audio and the video. So.
Awesome. No, it's great. It's crazy because it's such a large topic, and there were so many things like I wanted to, I could talk about that. No, let's try to keep it on the rails. So I was trying to keep it, not go too technical. Like I know you got a more technical audience, but I wanted to. Yeah, it was like so much. I'm like, I could get into that. No,
I think you kept it at a great level. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I think that was really good. You got a little technical here and there, and but also kept it at a high enough level of so it's very general purpose to anybody that's doing it. I think they can take pieces of that and say, okay, now I get. Okay, so Matt did it this way. I can keep that in mind as I dive into whatever their specific problem is they're trying to solve.
Yeah, and I felt like one of the key things was just letting working with Claude or whoever to help you solve those problems and figure those things out. Just yeah. Well, I don't want to talk to you guys all day about, this stuff, but yeah, just like the database piece, like how can I want to I want to do backups, but I want to encrypt them, and and it helps you figure that out as you go.
Yeah, those are the great ones. Is just throw it out there and just say, and you use it like I think you refer to it, and I know a lot of people refer to it as like a second brain, and it really is like having it's just to have that conversation essentially. Like, okay, well, here's what I'm thinking. How's this going to work? What would I do? What are some of the best, the pros and cons and things like that, and then go iron it out and sort of think through it. Just pressure test your ideas on a regular basis.
Yeah, and I thought, Michael, when you brought up the fact that local AI versus you're still using the web apps through your API, like, oh yeah, that's true. I should probably. That was a good point. Yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah, I played with Llama and all that stuff too. I'm like, there's an application for that as well, because I built it in a way where I can just connect whatever AI I want to connect. But so that's
what I was trying to figure out, because when you were saying private, I was like, well, okay, so are you truly private, or are you just gatekeeping your data? Which is what I was trying to figure out the distinction.
Right, that's what it was. Yeah, it's good because I'm new to talking about this stuff on podcasts. So I mean, I've talked about it on my own podcast, but I keep it pretty high level. They're like not technical as much. But that was a good one. I got to remember. That's something that people are gonna be like, hey, wait a minute, you're still using. I'm like, yeah. But me, it was about the data itself and keeping that private, but still working, and also having that context. Those are the pieces that I was solving first, is because you can't just load that all into the apps. And yeah.
Well, I think you'll find, just as a a helpful hint, I guess, because what I've found is that and you sort of alluded to this, and it would have been another rabbit trail to go down, but the idea of you don't need to use AI for everything. Some of it's just like you use AI to help build it, and then you're just automating it, or it's things like email templates and stuff like that. You can do that without AI. You can do some pretty smart code, and AI will generate code, will do that for you. And the same thing is with local, LLM, is there's a lot of stuff that you don't have to, as you mentioned, you don't have to do like the latest model. You can do one of the nice little local ones, throw it to Llama. It'll give you exactly what you need. And then, especially like you said, if it's small context and not anything crazy, if it's, writing a template, writing an email, summarizing a meeting or something like that, it can do that stuff, real easy. Yeah. And then you don't have to worry about tokens. Now you're just worried about making sure that whatever your local server is that, can handle that. So
yeah, the whole email piece is like the outreach and stuff, and how it's helping me is the whole rabbit hole. It's like, you could go there, but
I could spend a season talking about that alone, and living on LinkedIn and doing the outreach in there, and doing outreach via emails, and using AI for all of the things that I use it for to help, basically to help get through the noise.
Well, I think you and I have talked about too though, is you make a good point. You don't have to, AI is one tool, and you don't have to use it. And we could have gone there. We should have gone there a little bit, because yeah, you're right. Because the command center for me is not only just AI's analyzing it, it's a centralizing, it's automating, it's using APIs it's kind of interesting. There's just so much, and it's like figuring out how to talk about it. Yeah, for the average person.
Well, maybe perfect excuse for us to have you come back on again at some point and just say, okay, let's go into part 2 of AI and some of the things that you can do.
I'd love to. Yeah.
So
all right, that'd be a fun one. Maybe like a Friday challenge, just pick up couple little rabbit holes and just go through rabbit hole challenges.
We could easily do something like that. So well, I'll let you. I don't want to keep you too long. I know we've gone over. So thanks so much for hanging out with us, Matt, and especially giving us some of your early morning. You were fine. Obviously, you had the right amount of coffee beforehand, so there was no problem there. And like I said, we'll keep in touch. We'll let you know we'll send you the links when this comes out. So feel free to share it everywhere, and we'll just keep an eye on it. And then, like I said, we may swing back around and have you come on, because this is a great mix of technical but more business, entrepreneurial discussion around all this. I think is just perfect level for our audience.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's great. And I think that, there would be so many easy things like to actually, like I said, choose a rabbit hole, choose something that's, because for me, it's about when I'm talking about it, like I want to, there's all these technical aspects of how to build it and all that stuff, but it's really not just building it to build it. Like we're using it to solve a problem or to make us more efficient. And I love to talk about all that stuff. All right, I'm going to go now.
Have a good one, Matt.
See
Enjoy
you
your
guys.
day.
Take care.
Been fun. Bye.